This episode has been brought to you by Frontera and Connect.
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Candidates Unfiltered, Shawana Cashel,
Welcome to Candidates Unfiltered, a platform that delves beyond politics and campaigns and speeches to uncover the human side of aspiring leaders. Today, a dynamic figure blending business, philanthropy, and politics, a successful businessman, former Coca-Cola executive, and founder of Cummings Africa Foundation. His commitment to Liberia's growth is evident. Join us to uncover his journey, vision, and dedication to a brighter future for Liberia. Please help me welcome Alexander B. Cummings.
Hello. How are you?
All right, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here.
My pleasure.
All right, so from corporate boardroom to the heart of grassroots initiative, Cummings' story is one of dedication, innovation, and a steadfast belief in Liberia's potential. Are you ready for Candidates Unfiltered?
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's begin. How does it feel to be here today? This is different, right?
It is. It's nice. It's a loud, small but rowdy crowd.
Yeah.
A lot of energy, which is good.
I'm happy that you accepted our invitation to be here.
My pleasure, sure.
So we're here to get personal. Talk about your life outside of politics. We'll leave politics behind for the day and then just talk about you. So my first question is, let's go back to when you were a child. You grew up in Bushwood Island, right? So can you tell me maybe a story or a moment that you had with your family back when you were in Point 4 with your family that stands out?
I don't know if there's a moment that comes to mind per se. Well, what I would say was a very typical family. I had three sisters, two older, one younger. Although my older sisters don't like me to say they were older. So I just say I have three sisters. My younger sister passed away. Blessed to have parents who, insisted we had at least one meal together as a family. In our house, my aunts lived with us. So it was a full house. I think it was 4 bedrooms, 1 bathroom back then, so we all had to share. So happy upbringing, I would say, and we enjoyed each other. My parents are pretty strict,
Yeah.
in terms of good grades and behave yourself and kind of do the right thing. We just enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah.
So I pulled up a picture on the monitor of a letter that you wrote back in 1973. It's the president's letter. So you were the president of your class. There's a part in the letter I'd like to read. It says, now, Apona.
Pana, so
Apana.
I think it's crown,
Okay.
and I think it means we work together or something like that.
Okay,
I don't recall
I'm going to
directly,
read an excerpt of that. It says, I wish for all the members of Apona good luck and prosperity in all their endeavors, and hope for all of them a very long life. And to the rest of the school and administration, we say, well done. Keep up the good work and right on. 1973.
That's right. That was when I think Afro's, right on,
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And so tell me about what it was like. I mean, you were class president of the class. So tell me about that experience.
So, all through high school, I was very active in student politics. I was, at one point, I think, class treasurer, one time class senator. And in my senior year, my classmates, a bit of politicking, kind of lobbying for it. But I won the class presidency. And it was a role where, you kind of had to encourage, lead, support. One of the things I'm proud of in our senior class year, we did a yearbook. So we had to raise the funding for it, solicit, we did cake rallies and that kind of stuff, yeah. So again, good class. Was a small class, one of the smaller class, I think we're 32
What school was
in our
this?
class, CW,
CW,
College
okay.
of West Africa. Great high school, by the way.
Yeah.
A bit biased, but yeah, so it was, it's beginning of sort of leadership,
Right, right,
if you
right.
will, beginnings of, speaking out, taking the lead, taking some risk,
Yeah, of course.
encouraging, cajoling fellow students, because you had no formal authority,
Right.
right? So it was about setting the example, about encouraging, about just say
Motivating,
cajoling,
right,
motivating.
right.
Yeah.
So I have another picture of you. It's a group of young teenagers in that picture. Now, I'm sure you had best friends, in high school. And so the question I have for you, if I asked them today to describe you, what do you think they would say?
Um, I, I'm guessing, right?
Okay, you're
But
guessing, right?
But I think they would say, determined, focused. I think they would say good sense of humor. I like a good time. It's not obvious to people,
Okay.
right? Uh, they would say, like he kind of sly. So, there's more to him than there is, right? So don't believe the hype, if you will. Yeah, so I think, determined,
That's what they
focus,
would, okay.
yeah,
Wonderful.
good sense of humor.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So teen years, that's where dating starts and whatnot. So did you find yourself entering the dating life at an early stage, or did you develop later? And then also, would you describe yourself as being reserved back then or naturally outgoing?
I don't know, you call early or later, depends. But I started dating in high school, right? But senior high school.
Normal.
Yeah, and then into university.
Okay.
Back then, and maybe still now, but back then, you had to have more than one girlfriend to be,
Is that so?
Yeah, so I started dating in high school,
Okay.
and then into university.
Wonderful. So, of course, after dating, then we talk about marriage and love and all of that. So there's a picture of your wedding on the monitor, you and Mrs. Cummings. It's evident that you guys complement each other. You've been married for you've been married for 41 years
Yes.
now, which is just amazing. Could you share a story about how you guys met?
Yeah, so Teresa and I, met at university. We were actually introduced by another Liberian. Unfortunately, she passed away, Howard Collins.
Okay.
And so on campus at Clark Atlanta University, or Spelman, it's sort of St. Pete campus. And I remember Howard sort of yelling, she was with Teresa, and she yelled, I was, sort of across a few feet away, and she's like, come meet your future wife.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, literally. And Teresa, I never met. Yeah, so, and actually that's how we met. She said, Alex,
So how
come
long
meet your
after
future wife."
that meeting did you propose?
I think about maybe a year and a half, 2 years.
So that was your future wife?
Yeah, she was.
And now 41 years later.
41 years later.
Wonderful. So the next picture is of your family. There you have a boy and a girl, a man and a woman now. You have 2 children. So can you tell me something very special about each of them?
Yeah. So it's a girl and a boy. My daughter is sensitive. She's the older one. so
Okay.
It's Ayo and Boy Kai, are my 2 kids. So Ayo is the more, I would say more creative one. She's an aspiring actress right now. And she teaches to kind of help support herself. But so she's more on the creative side. She's more outgoing, a little bit more like Teresa personality-wise, my wife. And Boyka is a bit more reserved. He's sort of in business. He runs our family office. So they're different kids. The good news is they get along very well now. They used to fuss.
Sibling rivalry.
Yeah,
together.
sibling rivalry. They used to fight, and he used to poke her and get her angry, and she's like, "I hate you," But today they're like, they're extremely close. I think they speak almost every day, right?
awesome.
Yeah. So, but they're different, very
Yeah,
different
yeah.
personalities, and just like Teresa and I. She's the more expressive, more outgoing.
Right.
And I'm the more kind of reserved introvert. So it's kind of yin and a yang.
Yeah, they mimic you guys. Okay,
Yin and yang
don't
works.
even go anywhere right now. So we'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Still to come.
What I didn't know, I predicted it's the gender of both my kids. I knew my first child would be girl. I remember my father saying,
Frontera Wines, one of the best and affordable imported wines in Liberia. For 18 and older. Drink responsibly. At Connect Services Liberia, we provide high-speed internet and data communication. We ensure fast, reliable, and stable wireless connectivity. With our services, we've helped customers, small businesses, enterprises, and NGOs with reliable internet connectivity. We would love to help you grow your business. Call us today.
Welcome back. Is the audience ready for more questions? Yes. All right. So, let's get to it. All right. So I have a question. So when you transitioned into marriage and fatherhood, did you have any apprehensions about it, or were you just ready for it?
I mean, I think I was ready for it, but to say I had no apprehensions at all would not be correct. It was a big step, getting married. But like with everything I do, I'm quite deliberate, and thought about it. But I would also say, marriage is about being blessed as well, and so I consider Teresa blessings. We've had ups and downs and that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But it's not something you prescribe or you actually know the outcome. And so, yeah, we've been intentional about our relationship, about our marriage.
Yeah.
But we've been blessed along the way,
Yeah.
right? To be accommodating of each other, sort of grow together, and our interests didn't diverge too much because that sometimes happens in marriages. So yeah, incredibly blessed.
And what about fatherhood?
I really didn't know what to expect, to be
Yeah.
honest, right? I mean, I would be sort of pretending, I was going to be a great dad. But what I didn't know, I predicted it's the gender of both my kids.
Oh,
Yeah, and again, I think it was maybe luck.
yeah.
But I knew my first child would be girl. I remember my father saying, and maybe because he had two girls before I was the third, he said it was good luck to have a girl child first. I don't know whether that's true or not. But anyway, I predicted my first child would be a girl and my second would be a boy. So a bit of luck. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, fatherhood. What I would say too, though, is that I give Teresa more credit for raising the kids because I traveled a lot. Because of my job responsibility.
Yeah.
I was smart, Shauna, in that when I came home from travels and Teresa would take a break or something, I never got into their routines. So the kids would say to me, Mommy doesn't do it this way. And I'm like, fine, how does Mommy do it?
Yeah.
And that's how we'll do it, right?
Yeah.
Because it would be unfair to try to change the
Exactly.
routines and then leave, for a week or two and then come back in. So I think I was smart that way.
Yeah.
Right?
So, do you think that you talked about marriage? Do you think that it's difficult for your wife to share her time or to share your time with the public and share time with the family? Do you think it's tough for her, or she's able to balance that?
I think generally she's able to balance that.
Okay.
In my prior role as a senior executive, you have to interact with people, engage, receptions, but politics is a whole different,
Yeah, absolutely.
level of demands on your time. So
That's why I asked the question.
yeah, so she's generally good about it, right? Every now and then, she's like, it's enough, right?
Yeah, of course.
Because, sometimes people just show up all times of the day and that sort of stuff. You got to accommodate, and we try to do that.
Yeah.
But every now and then, she's like,
Let's go. Let's tell everybody to go home, close the door, family time.
The office shut.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with her on that one. So, what's one of the most challenging times you both have had to face, yet still power through it together?
When we first got married, we were challenged financially, right? Young couple, just got married. Even finding the deposit to get our first apartment was a bit of a challenge. We figured it out, but again, Teresa was understanding, flexible, and she kind of always knew we'll figure it out. We'll get through it, right? So despite those challenges, and then we traveled and lived in Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, the U.S., the U.K. And literally, Shauna, I remember in Nigeria, we moved to Nigeria. got there one day, and the next day I was on the road. We just kind of left her, right? But she figured it out, you know, the housing, and all that sort of stuff, right?
Amazing.
It's amazing,
Yeah.
right? So again, that's why I say I'm very, very blessed
Yeah,
in
definitely.
that respect, yeah.
Very much so. So beyond your public persona, what are some of your hobbies or interests that you're passionate about?
So hobbies, in no particular order. I love movies, so any free time I get, it's kind of get my mind off. I read a lot. I like music.
What
So
kind of music?
my very eclectic. So African R&B is probably my favorite genre, but a bit of jazz,
Okay.
even a little bit of classical on Sunday. But my happy time, I tell people, is sitting on the porch with a cigar, cognac or scotch, depending on the mood, and music playing.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
It's the perfect day.
I'm in my happy place.
Yeah. I get it. I
Yeah,
get it.
so-
Okay. So as much as I don't want to stop this, we have to honor our sponsors. We'll be right back after this.
Up next,
There's some misperception. People think Cummings is arrogant or he's not friendly.
Frontera Wines, one of the best and affordable imported wines in Liberia. For 18 and older, drink responsibly. At Connect Services Liberia, we provide high-speed internet and data communication. We ensure fast, reliable, and stable wireless connectivity. With our services, we've helped customers, small businesses, enterprises, and NGOs with reliable internet connectivity. We would love to help you grow your business. Call us today. Candidates Unfiltered, the person, not the politics.
Welcome back. Hope you've been watching. And if you're just joining us, be sure to re-watch this episode from the beginning. But before we move on, we have a fun show favorite, really. So let's see how fast Mr. Cummings can think on his feet with a little word association. All right, so basically I'll say the word and the first thing you think about, say it. All right, family,
Kids,
politics,
tough.
dancing,
I enjoy dancing.
Coca-Cola,
Coke, the product.
president.
Awesome responsibility.
All right. Amazing job. Not just threw that on you. You were not prepared, but you did well. All right. So now we have a picture on the monitor of you and your mother. You can see the love and admiration that you have just within this photograph. So the question is there something that either of your parents might have taught you that you use as a daily practice to stay grounded and maintain focus? And you can also talk about the picture too.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, my parents, particularly my mother, insisted that we treated everybody with respect. And I think it's helped me even in politics now. You know, anybody older than we were, we had to call them Mr. or Miss or Auntie or Uncle, whatever. We were not allowed to call anybody by their first name. The other thing I would say about my mother, particularly, but both parents, is the insistence that hard work don't kill anybody. She used to always say that, you know. So she didn't tolerate, you know, whether we misbehave or didn't make good grades. My mother used to actually beat us on the right hand if we had red marks, right? And so I sort of very profound, if you will. So I was the only boy, and so I was both sort of spoiled in a way, but also they were tough on me because I was. They wanted me to make something of myself. Yeah, so it's that combination of,
With your parents. Yeah.
yeah, both parents. My father was also the quiet one, if you will. So my mother would sort of beat, and my father would explain why we got beaten. So he would rationalize it for us. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So in the picture, it's you looking at your mom. I think she's in a hospital.
Yeah.
What's happening in this picture?
Yeah, so my mother's just in a nursing home now. She'll be 95 on the 15th, which is Tuesday. Yeah, so she's lived a good long life. We're very blessed and grateful.
Yeah.
And so I was visiting with her, and I try to visit as often as I can. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so what's a misconception people might have about you that you'd like to clarify or dispel?
So there's an expectation that, and maybe it's associated with success, that there's several misperceptions. People think Cummings is arrogant, or he's not friendly, or the opposition has perpetuated this sort of vicious rumor that Cummings is gay or he support gay lifestyle, which is nonsense. I don't know if I can say BS on your program.
You can say the word.
Yeah, so it's kind of bullshit, if you will. But I guess the more important one is the perception that, I'm not engaging, or I'm not friendly, or I'm arrogant, which is completely, or I'm out of touch,
Yeah.
right? When, say, growing up in Point Four, growing up in Fiamma, I understand our country, the challenges, experiences. As I mentioned, when Teresa and I first got married, we struggled financially. We really did. And we kind of work our way through. So a lot of the challenges people face today, we've faced it in our own ways. So people see the end product, see where we are today, see the success, and don't see the journey of how we got from where we are to where we are. So those are some of the misperceptions this opportunity to kind of clear up.
Thanks for clearing that up. So navigating success and fame can be a unique journey. So how can you ensure that you stay authentic to yourself?
So one of my greatest strengths, and I don't know how, I can't explain how this came about really, but is I'm very, very comfortable with myself.
Yeah.
So Shauna, I literally know what I know.
Yeah.
I know what I don't know. And because I'm comfortable with Alex, people say stuff, I'm not bothered because I know it's not me.
Yeah.
I have friends who I've known since high school, and we're still friends till today. And of course, family, and so they know Alex. So when people make up stuff or say stuff, I'm like, my best friend Robert Kennedy, he knows that that's nonsense, right? So, and because of that, or Teresa knows, or my kids kind of know me well, it's like, okay, right? Yeah. So it helps me to navigate because I'm comfortable who I am. I got good friends, strong family relationships. They know me, they know each other, they accept me for who I am. And so all of the public stuff we sort of manage. And I know the demands of the role I'm aspiring to. So my time is no longer mine, right? It belongs to the Liberian people, and I accept that. I've had practice at this because I've been in still a leadership role since I was 36 and became the youngest officer at the Pillsbury Company when I became vice president. So I've been in the sort of the public eye, not to the extent I am now, right? But I've been in the public eye. I know people watch what I say and do, particularly what I say.
Scrutinize you.
Yeah, scrutinize you. And people look at more what you do, not what you say. I mean, they look at both, right? So I've been in the public eye for many years, right? And so prepared for the challenges, we're faced with today, although again, the degree is very different.
Yeah. So basically, you just have to just be yourself and enjoy
yourself, enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Don't take yourself too seriously.
Right.
Don't take the criticism too seriously. Oftentimes, it's about the other person.
Yeah.
It's about sometimes their insecurities.
There's a saying, hurt people hurt people. And so if you're hurt about something,
Correct.
you're going to go and attack
Correct.
and hurt someone else.
Correct. And that's why I don't personally respond to the attacks.
Yes.
I don't get emotional about it because more often than not, it's about them.
Yeah.
And their insecurities, their hurts, their pain, their envy.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
I can't do anything about that, right?
Exactly,
So, yeah.
exactly. So let's reflect on your achievements. Is there a particular project or endeavor that remains closest to your heart, and why?
There's several things. One of my proudest achievements is all around people and team. I have an eye, Shauna, and again, I can't explain how it happened, but I know how to identify good talent.
Okay.
Yes. good, smart, and not just smart people. A lot of people are smart, right?
Yeah.
But people who are smart, but who can get stuff done. I'm good at building teams. A lot of my success is not just me, but identifying the right people with complementary skills, getting them to work together to achieve a goal, right? So when I ran Coca-Cola Africa, all of Africa Coca-Cola, started that role. Most of my direct reports were expatriates, they were non-Africans. And I said to myself, well, this doesn't make sense. It's a continent of 1 billion people. We got to have Africans to run this thing, right? Within 2 years, we had changed the complexion of the leadership team. We more than doubled earnings in the time I ran the business. We grew revenues, earnings. We started the Coca-Cola Africa Foundation that addressed problems of HIV/AIDS at the time in the continent, entrepreneurship and these things. Very proud of that. When I became executive vice president and chief administrative officer globally, we also, over a 2 or 3 year period, changed the whole team, build the right people with the right skills. So my ability to identify good talent, to motivate them, to get them to work together, to reward them, consequences, accountability for not delivering, I think I do well. The insistence that we put in processes and procedures and we follow them. You know, if you just dependent on you, the person, when that person is not around, things fall apart, right?
Yeah.
When you got processes and systems, then you get predictability, you get repeatability, right?
Yes.
And that's something we lack in Liberia. And then everybody got to follow the process, right? Even the leader. Because the minute you don't, nobody else will, right?
You gotta lead
So
by example.
you got to lead by example.
Wonderful, wonderful, great answer. What legacy do you hope to leave behind professionally and personally for future generations to be inspired by?
So I often say, and some of this is, again, providence and blessings, but your ultimate legacy, I think, are your children. And some of that is, again, some people call it luck. I call it blessing, because some people can do a lot and the kids still don't turn out. But I'm very proud of my children, my son and daughter, who they are. Not what they've achieved, but the individuals, the people they are. Something I'm proud of, and I think Teresa and I have some small stuff to do with that, right? But a big part is providence, blessings, and that kind of stuff. So, professionally, for a boy from Point Four in Fiamma to achieve what I achieved globally, the United States is the most competitive market in the world.
Yes.
I don't have any relative, other Liberians, and from where I started to where I ended up, I think it's a huge accomplishment. Again, a lot of it providence and blessings, but discipline, hard work, focus, determination, not settling for mediocrity, right? I think if Liberians understood the journey of what it took to get, Shona, the last budget I managed globally was almost $1 billion United States dollars we managed, right? The enterprise, the value of the Coca-Cola company globally today is about 260 billion United States dollars, right? And for a Liberian to be one of the top 2 or 3 executives of that enterprise I think it's a significant accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Where there was no corruption, no stealing, no nothing. So to earn it by delivering results every day, every month, every quarter, consistently, right? Building the teams to do it, right? I'm very proud of what I accomplished, being blessed with the opportunities. But then,
that's admirable. So I hate to come to an end with the questions, but I have to ask this one question, and that is, why are you seeking the office of president in the upcoming 2023 elections?
Yeah, so, actually, good question. I'm glad we're ending there.
Yeah.
I always start by the fact that I've been very blessed. So blessed, because these are things you choose. Blessed that I've had good parents. I mentioned the discipline, focus, good values. Blessed with a good education. Blessed with experiences of living and working, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, US, UK. And as I look at my life and experiences, and I looked at our country, I felt, look, God didn't give me all of these blessings just to keep it for myself or for few people, right? And the presidency is the job where you can impact all 5.2 million Liberians. Yes. And I wanted the opportunity to bring all of these experiences to help the country of my birth, to work with Liberians so we can achieve what I think is destined for us. Where we find ourselves today isn't our destiny. I think what we can achieve is what I want to work with Liberians to help us get to. So for me, it's about an obligation to help. Yeah. It's about, not just caring. I do care for our country and for our people, but having the skills and experience to combine the caring with fixing problems and issues. So I give the benefit of the doubt to all the candidates that we all care for Liberia. Yeah. We all love Liberia. But do we all have the experience, the skills, the know-how, the relationships, and the connection to fix the problems? Mm-hmm. The biggest issue facing Liberia today, among many things, is the economy. Right. Growing the economy, creating jobs. If we do that, if we fix the economy, if we grow the private sector, it will solve a lot of our issues. And if I may say so myself, of all the candidates running, I bring the best experience, the best skills to fix the economies, to create jobs, to help reduce the cost of living, right? Mm-hmm. And this I want to bring to bear. Yeah. I want to work with Liberians so we can fix our country, and we can do it. Mm-hmm. So I'm passionate about it. We're going to make the case. In the next 60 or so days, we have the elections. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, Sean and Liberians will decide. Right. What I hope is that the results, when announced, will be the will of the Liberian people. Right. Not contrived, not somebody cheated and that kind of stuff. As long as it's the will of the people, we all should accept and live with consequences.
A heartfelt thank you to you, Mr. Cummings, for sharing your insights on this show. We extend our gratitude to our studio and TV audience for being a part of this enriching conversation. Special thanks to our sponsors for their support and KMTV for the live broadcast. Your engagement has made this episode truly impactful. Mr. Cummings, thank you again for being a guest.
Thank you,
I hope you enjoyed the show.
This was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
A little different.
Very different. We're not talking about education, healthcare, and all that stuff. Yeah, wonderful.
Your story is so inspiring. We're just so grateful. And to all of our viewers out there, remember, behind every candidate is a human being with a story to tell. Thank you.
Join us next week for another raw and unfiltered look into the lives of our candidates.
Who are you, baby? Oh, yeah. Who are you, baby? Oh, yeah.
Candidates Unfiltered, the person, not the politics. This episode has been brought to you by Frontera and Connect.